In an earlier video, we took a look at the surface offset command using the standard offset option. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the expand and with draft options. And I have a joystick model open, and I decided that I want to create a few more buttons on here. And so I can do that with the offset command. Let's take a look at that. And I have a few additional sketches that I've put in here. Let's select the surface that we want to place the button on, and then from the mini toolbar I can choose the offset command, and here you see a preview of the geometry. And if I go to the dashboard right now, it's using the standard offset option, but instead I can use the expand option if I only want to use the area within a given sketch. If I go to the options tab, by default it's using the whole surface. You'll notice right now there's no preview. It went away because it doesn't know how to do this with the expand option. Instead, I can choose a sketched region, and you can select an existing sketch or define a sketch within the feature. For simplicity, I'm just going to select one of the pre-existing sketches. And I'm going to select a sketch that was created on that surface. And you can see a preview of the offset distance, and you have a drag handle that you can use to change that distance. And here are some of the important options. So first off, right now it's asking you, do you want to do the side surface normal to the surface or the sketch? Well, in this particular situation, I selected a sketch that is on the surface. So whether I'm doing surface or sketch, it doesn't matter in this situation. Let's take a look when we use a different sketch. I'm going to select a sketch that's located on a datum plane at an angle with respect to the surface that I am offsetting. And what you'll notice is that the offset depth is independent of the location of the sketch. So the sketch can be below the surface that you're offsetting. It can be above the surface that you're offsetting. It can be on the surface. It's using that as sort of like a guide for, hey, what area do you want to use inside of the sketch in order to offset the surface that you're selecting. And in this situation, now we have an option where when we select either surface or sketch, it makes a difference. So you'll notice that right now our surface offset has some angles with respect to the surface that we're offsetting because we're normal to the sketch. If I choose surface, now we're offsetting normal to the surface, almost like if we were doing an extrude. But again, sketch option, now it is being normal to the sketch plane that the sketch is located on. Here's where we get some interesting stuff. So instead of using the expand option, we could use the option for expand with draft. And I kind of don't like how it just says with draft feature. It really should be expand with draft. And when I choose that one, now we have a drag handle for the angle, and you can see that I can control the draft angle there, and that's especially useful if this is going to be a molded or cast part. And when we change that option to expand with draft, now we have an option for the side surface profile. You can either do it straight, you can kind of see that we have straight lines in here, or we could do tangent. And tangent is now putting basically rounds at the intersection with the surface that we're offsetting and the top of the surface. And again, I can toggle back and forth between whether I am being normal to the surface or to the sketch. You can see that that affects whether we are using straight or tangent, the final geometry that you are going to end up with. So that is good for that first one. Let me hit the check mark. And so there you see our first offset surface. Now let's take a look at another option in here. So this time I'm going to choose a couple of slightly curved surfaces. So you can actually do the expand and with draft with other surfaces that have curvature. And so let's select this surface and this surface. And then from the mini toolbar or the ribbon, you can choose the offset command. And Again, I will use the drop-down list and make sure that I'm using the expand feature option. It automatically went to expand feature because I selected multiple surfaces. Let me change my angle over here. You'll notice that references is in red. Let's go to options as well. And it wants me to define a sketch or select a sketch. And so let's click here to activate the sketch collector. Pick the sketch that I already have. And again, you'll notice that the offset distance is independent of the sketch itself. They don't have to be related in any way. And since I selected multiple surfaces, you'll notice that the expand area for option for whole surface is grayed out. I have to select a sketch region. That's why the references tab and the options tab were red. And again, we can choose whether we want to be normal to the surface or the sketch. And again, you'll notice that it changes slightly based on what I do. There's normal to the sketch, there's normal to the surface. And once again, let's change from the expand option to expand with draft. And again, we have a draft angle that we can control. Let's make a nice big draft angle that you can see. And we've got the side surface profile options, whether we want it to be straight or tangent. And I really like the way that the tangent looks. So that is good. Let us hit the check mark. One other thing to note is that the offset geometry is automatically merged into the source geometry. So this particular joystick imported as a surface. Let's select our datum plane and go to the View tab and create a section. And you can see how the offset surfaces are automatically merged into the original imported geometry. And as always, I like to give credit to my sources for the different design models. That particular joystick I was able to get from TraceParts.com, and that is a joystick from APEM. It is the CJ series joystick. And again, I am extremely appreciative of companies that put their models online for people to use. Another situation I commonly see the expand and with draft options used for is with logos or stamping or names that are going to be placed on surfaces. And so here I have a block extrude, and I just have my old NASA Star Trek ripoff logo here, and I'm going to use that for creating some geometry on this part. So let's select our surface, and I don't have the offset command in my mini toolbar, so I'll get to it from the ribbon. And here right now it is using the standard offset. Here we can change to the expand option. And let's go to the options tab. I'm going to select a sketched region. And I will select this sketch that I have for my logo. And there you can see the offset distance that you can use. I can change this value here. So again, this is really good for, again, let's say that we want to have a raised logo for our on our surface, just to sort of like use it for branding. And just like before, we can go to the drop-down list and we can use the expand with draft. And I happen to know that for this one, it can't take too much of a draft angle because it is so thin. And again, you could try to use the tangent. Doesn't like it because of the width of the feature, but again, we can go back to straight, hit the check mark, and there we have our logo used on the surface. And since I did it with draft, this is something that can be done in molding or casting. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more information, please visit www.creowindchill.com. If you learned something from this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like this video, please click the subscribe button to be informed when new videos are uploaded. Thank you very much.